Morning guys, Monday the 6th of July. Quite pleasant actually. Yeah, relatively warm. Some of you may be aware of noticed that I said yesterday didn't do my live, which I've been doing now for quite, well, pretty much since lockdown actually, on a Sunday night. And yeah, it was interesting because I'd reflected on a previous walking video about taking responsibility and what that means, and it being motivating at times and so forth. But at the same time, sometimes you can feel that bit of pressure to do certain things. So it's also good to know when to have a bit of a gap or a break or a breather from something. I think, yeah, if someone gets to the point where it becomes a bit of a binder, a chore, an obligation, then I think it's important to review it. And I'm not saying that my life's become that, but I think when it was the anniversary of Mum's sort of death, 21 years on Friday, and I think there was, a lot of other emotions as well I was processing. Ironically, like I said to a few people, more so in the last 21 years in lockdown than I think ever before in some respects. But I do think that has something to do with that being forced in a sense, into a position where you have more time to reflect and think, and it connects with other aspects of loss and so forth. So there are definitely some good things I think that can come out of the lockdown, and that's, I think, is one actually, definitely having to sort of reflect and face some stuff a bit more. But also I think coming back to that, me saying, I'll have a bit of a break, a breather, bit of, breathing time. I think when you're, especially if you're somebody who you're there for other people a lot of the time, you give a lot, which I know I do, and all my work is all about giving and enabling and empowering, enabling others in lots of different ways. I think that can take its toll. And I think sometimes you perhaps don't even always really realise or appreciate to what degree it's taking its toll, but it can. Oh, there she goes. Hiya. And I think it's absolutely vital that you have to look after yourself. I have a number of clients I'm working with at the moment, some through coaching and the sort of supervision, whereby they are what I'd call, they're all helpers in different ways, in different roles, and a couple of those individuals at the moment are very conscious of needing to look after themselves, put themselves first, and perhaps just sort of back off a little bit, give other people slightly less, and actually I say slightly less for one individual, slightly less really still does mean them giving a massive amount. I think the expectation they put on themselves, never alone others, is huge. So I think that's quite important for them at the moment. And I think when you've got caught up in that sort of role, and a big part of who you are, what you've become, your sense of identity is all about give. It can be, I think, slightly hard, well, not slightly, quite hard for some people to sort of begin to try and let a bit of that go and actually give a little bit of that to themselves. You know, that saying, put your own oxygen mask on first, like in the aeroplane, so you can give, do that for others. And I think that's quite key. You need to be able to recognise that you need to give yourself time and care so that you can give to others more effectively. That's the piece as well. Because people think, they're doing others a favour, they're giving all of whatever, and it's like, well, actually, no, you're not really, because you're not leaving any time for yourself, so you're not being able to give the maximum effect. And as I'm sure a lot of you will have heard the term, what often happens is some people will, call it burnout. Some people will also develop things like chronic fatigue, various other sort of both actually emotional and physical ailments in different ways, purely because the individual's not really been looking after themselves enough. And I think what we have to remind ourselves as human beings is human beings are amazing things in terms of what they can and do, what the body and the mind can do, what it offers. It really is. But if we keep pushing it, at the end of the day, at some point, something will give. So, caring for yourself, looking after yourself that bit more. Reflecting on, if I give that little bit more to myself today, what will that bring me? How will that benefit me? What is it to just hold back just that little bit more? Actually, what might that have to offer others as opposed to giving 110% all of the time, and being full on, and because again, I think that if you're not careful, you put expectations and pressure, unrealistic ones actually, on others. And also what you to be mindful of as well, another thing is that you can end up thinking people are doing stuff for themselves because you think you've encouraged them to do that, but actually if there's a bit too much expectation and pressure there, it may be that somewhere along the line they just end up doing it for you, and because they feel they don't want to let you down, as opposed to it being more important for how it, for what it means to them. It's about needing to do it for themselves and not letting themselves down more than it is for the other person. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's come on, Will, it's important to have some accountability involved in our actions and our goals and what we do, but you still ultimately need to be aware of your motivators and your your values, you know, what's your purpose, what's your reason for, come on Will, for doing those things. And as I said before, in this part of the wood, Will's purpose is berries, berries, berries. Keep going. So guys, have a we'll try and pick some letters with moodly, muddly. Always come up when I've come up with magical before. Mega mad. There you go. Rather than mega mad Mandy, mega mad Monday. Look after yourselves, and I shall speak to you later. Bye. Where you going, Will? Will, come on. Come on. Keep going.